A brand new franchise joins Disney Lorcana. We have maybe some disappointing details for the new organized play kit, and a bunch of new cards, including some insane enchanted cards. Let's check it out. What's up, Illuminaires? It's Charlie and Matthias back, and this is going to be a huge news video. We have so many things to cover, so let's waste no time. Should we get straight into it?
Yes, I think the first thing to say really, and you probably know by now, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow actually is joining Lorcana officially. So it got confirmed in the last Lorecast this week. Funny enough, if you did watch some of our videos, probably 2-3 weeks ago, in the beginning of Whispers in the Well, we were predicting the Sleepy Hollow. So very happy to see this happening. It makes a lot of sense with the whole spookiness that they want to bring to Disney Lorcana. What it means is this is the third franchise. So we have the Black Cauldron, we have Gargoyles, and now the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. All that was solved through many riddles and many clues that you could see during the review season across many different content creator videos, right?
Yeah, including ourselves.
If
If you spotted the very discreetly included R, then it was the R from Katrina, I think.
I believe
that was the puzzle. So yeah, really exciting to see the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I know it was kind of like thematically on point. It wasn't something I was expecting this early, but really cool. Like it's we're gonna see some of the cards like absolutely insane.
And it's crazy that is also one of the franchises we're mentioning our guests for future franchises, right? It's just missing Mr. Toad, so hopefully it's gonna come next. But super cool. Check our Instagram for more details anyway.
Yeah. And then I'll let Matthias talk about this one too.
So going to organized play kit. So that's another news we got this week. So pretty much you got the full list of what includes in the products. So if you don't know, the organized play kit is the products that organized stores or associated stores to Disney Lorcana will receive for free, and then they will distribute you in your weekly play. So the main things that you can see here, we're showing on screen right now, is the lore counter is stunning. It's based on one of the enchanted card that we're going to cover in a second. But the surprise here is there's only one pin. That's a ruby pin. The character pins this time around, no clue. It's not showing there. Maybe something that they're going to start to remove. We don't know. It's just a guess. We have a sticker. It does look like a pin, as it was with the Winnie the Pooh previously, but that's just a sticker. And we know there's going to be a storage box, as has been the case, but this one is based on Whispers in the Well art. I'm guessing it's just the key art we've been seeing.
And if we had to guess color, it's probably Sapphire, right? Because we have one of each of the other colors so far.
Yes, I think
they've been working through them. The last one was Ruby.
So and it makes sense. It is similar. It is bluish, right? The colors we've been seeing for the Whispers in the Well marketing materials. And then when it comes to the card, there's also some new surprises. So first, as usual, you get a buy a box card if you purchase any box from your local game store while supplies last. That's the Scar card you can see on screen. We have a pre-release event card. If you attend a pre-release event on the pre-release weekend while supplies last, you're gonna acquire one as well. That's from the Horseman Strike. That's the new card for the new franchise. Then we have a new one, which is a Bring a Friend promo card. That is Elsa. So pretty much this is experimentational. Disney Lorcana said that they might not continue. They're going to test for this set. But the idea is if you bring someone brand new to the game to your local game store, you should acquire the card. Hopefully your friend as well that just joined. But pretty much, yeah, you get one of those promo cards. And finally, we have 2 weekly play cards. So the more you're playing, depending on the rules of your store, you acquire either the Zeus or the Great Illuminary. In total, it's the same quantity of cards. The difference is one of the ones that was dedicated to weekly play is now dedicated to Bring a Friend.
Which is really cool. I think it's nice. Like, it's a way to encourage players to come into the game. And we know Elsa is always popular. The foil effects on these are going to look absolutely insane if Fable is anything to go by. So very excited. And some of those seem like kind of playable cards.
They do. Good. And what is worth saying as well, because I saw a lot of questions on Instagram, is people are wondering how come Scar and Zeus, which are Whisper cards, doesn't have the torn paper design. Yeah. And they said that the team actually said at Ravensburger that when they have to prioritize between that language or the promo language, they have to push towards the promo language, so it has to follow the same theme, as you can see on the background behind the text. So that's all. They are still Whisper cards, so that's it. It's the same mechanic, and it works as it should.
Had me asking questions as well when we first saw those. So with that said, we can swap on over to the card reveals, and we're going to start with the enchanted cards. Always the most exciting cards to look at. So up first, we're going to look at some enchanted cards, and we're going to look at the remaining enchanted card for Amber. This is Goofy Glumping Gumshoe, and looks absolutely incredible.
I'm so happy. We need to be honest with you. We literally finished recording this. I sat in the other chair and I shouted, Charlie, they revealed the Amber card. So in a few minutes, you're going to hear me betting on my own life that it would have been
Mowgli.
So probably I'm dead tomorrow then because it's goofy. But I'll be honest, between us, I'm all for that. I love this card.
We love
this card.
I love a goofy card, yeah.
I love the main Fab 5, and this is so beautiful. Oh my god, it's probably one of my...
Not even talking into his
I'm
microphone.
overexcited because I'm still seeing this card for the first time as we're showing to you. But that's it. So look at your screen, enjoy it, and let's hope that some of us will pull this card.
Yeah, I have a question. Where is this scene taking place? Because it
looks like what's the name? From Tokyo, but it's not, of course.
I don't.
The Hero 6.
Well, because it's like there's like that security light. There's the button.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious. This is a mystery that needs to be solved by Detective Goofy.
And I don't remember the other card, the normal version of this card. But anyway, we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we can go now to Amethyst Enchanted.
And first up, we have the Horned King. So with Black Cauldron joining the set, I felt like it was a pretty safe bet that we would get a Horned King Enchanted card, and here we go. This is crazy.
It's beautiful. The silhouettes, the shadows behind, right? There's so much scene. You can see that's in the middle of the war, and obviously that's the Floodborn version, so it's even cooler. We see things that is not in the reality from the normal universe, right? It gives me some vibes of Zelda, funny enough. It does look like the Hyrule Shield, and even something that a villain in Zelda, the posing, I don't know, I love it. Like, this is gonna be so iconic.
It's
right?
amazing. I think
Enchanted iconic.
Yeah, with the spooky cards, this set with the skeleton cards, it's really nice to see this. It's very heavy metal, as a lot of people have commented on.
That is
so
true.
Looks amazing. But if you thought that was going to be the most expensive Enchanted in Amethyst, you were wrong, because we have yet again another card from Frozen, and it's Can't Hold It Back Anymore, featuring Elsa front and center. If we've learned anything from Enchanted cards in the past, the Frozen ones are always the most expensive, and this has got to be one of the the most beautiful Enchanteds we're seeing from Frozen.
It's probably also a playable card, I'm guessing, right? Maybe there's other ways to move damage, but it could be used, so that helps as well. I would disagree with you. I still think I've always found is the best looking Enchanted.
Sorry, I forgot about all
that.
Is
my top 2. It was top 1 until a later card that we're gonna look in a bit.
I said one of,
yes.
But all is found is true. Yeah.
And I can't hold back my comment here, but it's I'm making this stupid silly joke. It looks like she's holding herself for something, and the card calls can hold it back anymore. So it fits 1-1.
We'll leave it there.
There you go. We'll leave it there.
We're going to look at the Enchanted cards for Emerald that were revealed. So the first one is Webby Van der Quack Jr. Prospector, who's the legendary card. And I think it was kind of following the pattern. There's usually one legendary card gets the enchanted treatment. I'm very glad it's Webby and not Shere Khan. No,
because we had Shere Khan
before. But it's nice to see a new character getting an enchanted card, and again looks absolutely amazing.
It's beautiful.
But I think my favorite Emerald enchanted card is going to be this one. It's Malicious, Mean, and Scary. This is a song card. Just absolutely incredible. I think some of the cards kind of look quite dark, right, when we've seen them. Malicious, Mean, and Scary, the complete opposite. Very, very colorful, very vibrant, dynamic poses on the characters, and can't wait to see this one in person, especially with the musical notes.
It is beautiful. It's funny because there's so much a mixed opinion, because of course no one would expect to see those characters inside the Enchanted card, but actually I love the composition, right? I love the big character on the back and the gold, as you said. And it's a playable card. It's a really playable card.
It's the poses for me that do it.
Amazing.
And like I know that it's more niche characters, but it's just like the poses, the character design.
It's beautiful. And the gold we sing for Fable, right, really pops out with those cards. But those are the ones in Emerald anyway.
But that's good. I'm hoping it's cheap because I want to buy that one. We have all three of the Ruby Enchanteds, and we're going to start with the Headless Horseman, Terror of Sleepy Hollow. We'll look in detail at the card later because it's a legendary card. And this, oh my God, absolutely incredible. We're huge fans of Halloween. We love the spooky season. So this is like just all spooky.
I feel like you went like hardcore. Like, okay, they like cute, they like this, and this, boom, look at this card, like in full force.
Ready, cute, this like...
It's just insane. It's like, this look kind of cute, and then suddenly, boom. And it's just fitting for Halloween, of course. Probably one of those top cards, I guess, as well, just because of what it represents. I'm not talking about the gameplay per se, but insane. And then we have Ladies Remain coming next. And I am a huge fan of the card. I'm a huge fan of Ladies Remain. I'm still curious about the effect of the card itself. We analyzed in the past, but I do like it. I think a lot of the things that people are talking, and you saw the pattern across the Enchanted, is the gold dots, right? It's almost like this energy passing by,
Yeah.
which again, there are different opinions across the board, but it works. For me, it really works, and I love seeing the whispers flying around her. It's just stunning. She's always so imposing.
Yeah, Lady Tremain's second enchanted
I
card.
prefer
which
this
is,
one.
Me too.
Much more.
And the dot motif Matthias was talking about,
Yeah.
we're going to see that later on another card that I think
very dotted.
shares a house with Lady Tremaine.
And by the way, super quickly, we will spend the full analysis of that once we do our Enchanted video as usual. We will get information from the team at Ravensburger about the art direction and the reason behind those things. So stay tuned. We will hopefully post something next week. Yeah.
Then the last Ruby Enchanted is Next Stop Olympus. Another really cool card. Hercules getting 2 enchanted cards this set. This probably being my favorite of the 2. But it's interesting. Normally the sets have kind of like quite a cohesive art style that's applied to the cards. But we can see like Next Stop Olympus is so different from Lady Tremaine, is so different from Malicious, Mean and Scary. So it's nice to see, even though they obviously share a language visually, it does look quite different from all of those cards. And another one that I think looks great, and I think potentially a card that could be quite playable too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do feel a little bit out of place, I'll be honest. But at the same time, I don't think this song from Emerald also feels too much like the other one. So it's cool. Art-wise, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
But my prediction for the most expensive enchanted card this set, it's Cinderella, whose name is in French. I can't remember what the English version is, but there we go. You can see the dot motif carrying over from Lady Tremaine. This card is just beautiful. The princess cards are always the most expensive enchanted cards every set. And to boot, I think Cinderella is probably one of the best legendary cards this set. So I think going to be one of those cards that just hope you pull it, because I think it'll be expensive to buy.
Yes, I think it's dream come true, the translation, but we will find out.
Yeah,
dream
that
come
we'll
true.
Check out.
Yeah, and again, the dots that Charlie said, we can see the dots being used for her carriage, the pumpkin carriage. So I cannot say carriage.
Carriage. You were correct. Yeah.
And it's and the castle, everything. It's just another beautiful Cinderella card.
But Matthias and our favorite enchanted card, the most incredible
in
art,
my whole
in my
life.
opinion,
Spooky Side.
The enchanted card we're going to be buying 100%, no doubt about it. Yeah.
So I was joking earlier. Well, not joking, but I was saying earlier, I always found was my number one forever Enchanted in terms of prettiness, the card, and I don't even play Sapphire. And not another Sapphire card. It's actually this is a piece of art, honestly. I need this card, and I'm already sad because I think everyone needs that card. And it's a playable card, so it's probably going to be expensive, which is sad.
And I love, for me, it's the fact that we've got the other version of Spooky Sight, and this is just a different perspective to that scene. It's great to see the Disney classic characters integrated in the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
It's insane. And we'll see the effect of the card in a bit later in the video.
And just beautiful. And then, last but not least, Judy Hopps, lead detective. A beautiful card in its own right, but I think she's got some really tough competition in Sapphire. I think Sapphire enchanted cards just always get the good ones.
No, it is actually the best, I think, for me. All 3 are stunning. I'll be happy with all 3.
But please let us pull one of the expensive ones, so we don't need to buy it. And then we have three enchanted cards for Steel, starting with Nick Wilde. Again, I don't remember the original name, but this to me I find more appealing than Judy Hopps. I think the pose and the lighting is more interesting, but
I prefer Judy Hopps. I like her curiosity, but both are amazing. Again, nothing so far we're seeing the cards, I'm happy to get any of those. Really. We can go straight to Goliath. So the legendary card got an enchanted, and it's so funny how every time I look at it, I see a different thing. The pose, because of the lighting, I have a hard time reading, I think, a little bit. It's so beautiful, though. I'm not saying that in a shady way. I just mean, I always find more things to look at every time I analyze the card.
It's like, I don't think there's been a card in Lorcana that's gone so hard on like the light source, like the fact that the book is really illuminating this whole scene in an amethyst color as well, which is quite interesting. But it's a similar motif to Nick Wilde. He's discovering an item with the golden shine around it, and the same with Goliath. But I do think Goliath is going to be another one of those really sought after cards, just because of what it represents. And Gargoyle's been such a cult franchise that people are really excited about. And then last but not least, in Steel, we have the Sword of Hercules. There's always, I think, one enchanted probably most people would rather not pull.
I know,
and
it's
I think,
unfortunate to say.
Yeah,
but
I think it's just, we see when it's a song or when it's an item and it really heavily features the character,
yeah,
it's a lot more appealing. When it's very focused on the sword, like,
yeah.
it's a very beautiful card, but I just think it's
an iconic item as well, right?
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
iconic. The sword is iconic. It's
Yeah.
just that I wish Hercules was more present, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, I understand why they're going this way, of course. And what's cool is you can see again the repetition of carrying on the lines that represents an item card that we saw in the other Enchanted as well, the Black Cauldron.
The
right?
Black Cauldron,
So
yeah.
it's cool to see this here. But yes, like you said, I wish if we have many lucky pulling Enchanted, because we never do it,
Yeah.
I want a character in it,
Yeah,
personally.
but I would even take the Black Cauldron. I think the Black
Black
Cauldron
Cauldron's
looks
amazing.
a lot more dynamic.
But there are
yeah.
things around,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah.
Black Cauldron, you see the other spirits. There's something more. Than,
Yeah.
Again, don't get me wrong. It's actually so beautiful.
so
and when we
beautiful,
see the
yeah, yeah.
evolution of item cards or locations,
Yeah.
because I think there was a time that it did struggle a little bit personally. I think this is so stunning, the movement, right? There's a lot of
It's very
dynamism.
dynamic, yeah.
It's beautiful, but I want a character.
Yeah.
Especially when in a set with so many amazing enchanted. So just before we go to each color, the only thing to say is we're missing one enchanted to be revealed in number. And I bet my life on it that it's going to be Mowgli. And I hope I'm not dead tomorrow when they reveal, but I think it's going to be Mowgli.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to show that to you. So check on Instagram as soon as it gets revealed.
So yeah, let's go over to the card reveals. It's worth saying that there are 9 cards that haven't yet been revealed. It was said on the Discord today by Ravensburger that they should have been revealed by now. They haven't for whatever reason, and they'll be added to the app with the next update. Maybe the content creators who have those cards are going to reveal them between now and then. But anyway, it's all to say there are 9 cards remaining. We're not going to be able to cover those, sadly, with the news videos. So if you want to see those, stick to our Instagram.
Yeah.
But we will cover the remaining cards that we do have.
Which is plenty.
Which is plenty. We're going to...
And I think, it's super worth saying as well that those 9 cards are literally uncommons. There's a couple of rares, but that's it. We're not missing any big cards, obviously, gameplay-wise, we hope.
Yeah.
But we will be on Instagram, like Charlie said. Just go check it out.
And yeah, so there are a lot of cards. We're going to go a little bit faster than we normally would. Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-hour-long video. But we are going to start with the last remaining legendary for Amber. It's Rapunzel, ready for adventure, 2-cost inkable, 1/2, questing for 1. She has support and the ability Act of Kindness whenever one of your characters is chosen for support until the start of your next turn. The next time they would be dealt damage, they take no damage instead. So Rapunzel really there to protect your characters, probably more so in an aggro deck or something where you want to just be questing like quickly and protecting your characters with her ability. Can also be used defensively if you need to challenge a character. You can give your character support and then challenge, and then they're protected, which is quite interesting. And yeah, it makes an action like Helping Hand pretty good because you can give one of your characters support, draw a card, use that character to quest, and then protect one of your other characters. And because you're giving them support, they're getting more strength, which means they can challenge if needed, and then will not take any damage from it.
I have one more comment as well, because there's so many questions that people are raising online, right? It's very important, the bit of the ability that says the next time they would be dealt damage, they take no damage instead. It's literally just the next time. What I mean by that is, let's say that Rapunzel receives support that turn, so she has the ability to not take damage. If the opponent uses 2 fire the cannons in a row, the first fire in the cannons has no effect, the second one does. So it's not for the full turn, it's just the first hit, it will take no damage. Yeah, so it's still, there's a way around this card, because unfortunately she has quite a low willpower as well.
Yeah, I think the good thing is, as soon as she's on the board, this effect becomes active, so you don't necessarily need to play her on curve and hope she survives. You could set up a bunch of characters with support and then play Rapunzel, use the support, and take it from there. I'm not sure about this one. I don't know how playable it is currently. Support is one of those abilities, just hasn't really popped off except for a couple of odd examples like Basil, so we'll see about her. But an Amber card that I do think is actually going to be very, very good this set is the Horseman Strikes. This is a 3-cost inkable action. Draw a card, you may banish chosen character with evasive. We know how prevalent evasive characters are in the metagame. Some of the best cards in the game, Elsa, Genie, Dumbo, all evasives. And the Horseman Strikes allows you to cleanly answer them and draw a card as well. So you're essentially gaining card advantage whilst your opponent's losing card advantage, which is very important. The fact it's inkable means if you're in a game where it's not useful, you can ink it away, which is fine. Even if you don't want to ink it, you can just play it and then draw a card. And of course, you could combine it with an effect like something like the feather, give a character evasive, and then target them with this. So a lot of interesting things here, and I think definitely going to be one of the better cards this set. Next up, we have Mowgli Mancub, a 2-cost inkable 1/2 questing for 1, with the ability Have a Better Luck. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a character card of their choice.
A non-character card.
A non-character card of their choice. Very important. Also very important to say is that it's your opponent who's making that choice. It's not you making that choice. So I think a lot of people, myself included, when I first saw Mowgli, I thought, actually very good, having bare necessities on a body, but sadly it is your opponent's choice, so it's something that your opponent can play around. Maybe something like Ludwig von Drake, where you get to be the one to choose and discard that card, is going to be a little bit better. But yeah, it's just amazing to finally have Mowgli in the game. I do have hopes for this card. I think there is a world where, you know, unless your opponent has a bunch of actions, he could be used for you to get rid of something like their one copy of Strength of Raging Fire they have in hand. We're going to see some other really powerful actions coming up, so it could be a way to get rid of those. But the fact your opponent can kind of insulate against him by just holding 2 actions is the downside, really.
I think they're going to make this happen, I think. It's still a good effect, right? It's just finding the right position. I just realized Shere Khan is just behind him as well.
Oh, yeah.
So if we do get an Enchanted for this, I hope there's kind of almost like a duel between both of them.
Yeah, that would be
super cool.
Very, very nice. Next up, we have Mickey Mouse Amber Champion. So we've seen the Goofy Emerald Champion was the promo card, and then each of the other colors got their champions revealed. So this is Mickey the Amber Champion. 4-cost inkable 2/5 questing for 1 with 2 abilities. The first one is Leading the Way. Your other Amber characters get +2 willpower. And Friendly Chorus. While you have 2 or more other Amber characters in play, this character gains Singer 8. Really cool. Great way to protect your characters in Amber, like particularly in an aggro deck. I think he actually works quite well being a 4-cost, because you can play him down, and then now essentially his effects active, all your characters are going to be getting this benefit. And it's quite easy in Amber decks. Like most Amber decks want to be going fast, wanted to be playing a lot of characters, so being able to then get his Friendly Chorus ability to activate, I think shouldn't be too difficult to do. And then once it's activated, he can sing things like Circle of Life on his own on turn 5, which is pretty strong. Also Beyond the Horizon, it's a card that you can't really run in aggro decks because you're not kind of inking up there, and you often don't have enough characters to sing it. But if you're playing Mickey, protecting your characters, and then you can sing that to refill your hand. So I do think there's some potential there around Mickey.
I think he's protecting as well Daisy, right? He's protecting Naughty for the aggro, which is, I can see this going to my deck if I start playing aggro again.
Definitely. So next up, if you do want to play aggro, you could play Sebastian, Loyal Crab, a 2-cost and inkable 1/1 questing for 3. Vanilla, which is a Pinocchio stat line we know very good in aggro decks, and great to see the stat line coming back after rotating out, and beautiful art.
Super cool.
Next up, we have the Headless Horse Manny, a 6-cost inkable 5/10 questing for 1 vanilla. For those who don't know, like myself, who had to look it up, this is a character, an object from DuckTales, and kind of nightmare fuel there, but very, very cool art indeed. As a card, I think it's okay, like a 5/10, very, very difficult to get off the board. Potentially in limited formats, it's going to be good. I do think, though, if I'm going to run a big body like this, I probably want to run the new Prince Charming bodyguard, because at least he is a bodyguard and has that secondary ability and quest for 2.
If you're playing Amber Steel.
If you're playing Steel, yeah. But if you are restricted to Amber, then maybe you would pick Manny just to have like a crazy body on the board that your opponent just isn't going to be able to get rid of.
Very unlikely, right? Yeah.
Very unlikely, but super cool card. Next up, we have Raja Devoted Protector, 3-cost inkable 3/4 questing for 1 bodyguard. Nice to have more bodyguards. Quite a few of them did rotate out. It's a good start line, and being able to play this on curve in an aggro deck will protect your characters.
This card was revealed by Aladdin's Castle, so please do check it out. It's very, very funny, the review, and we get to see their cat as well. It's so cute.
And it's nice. It's a continuation from their first
That's
reveal,
it,
and I'm
yes.
hoping the story just keeps
So
building
carry
and
on.
building. And I was like, it's so cool that he got like a character from the Sim universe. And I'm like, all right, because he's called Aladdin's
Aladdin's
Castle.
Castle.
My brain just like stopped working completely. Next up, we have Alonwi, Princess of Leah, a 1-cost inkable, 2/1 questing for 1 with support. So potentially, you could put her in your deck with Rapunzel, and then use the support to protect some characters. I was hoping we'd see a better card for Eilonwy. Like right now, she's just a common. I was half expecting the legendary for Amber to be Eilonwy, and I feel like the Rapunzel could have been Eilonwy. But yeah,
They could have used the same effect, but gave to Eilonwy, right? I agree.
But beautiful arts.
It's interesting because I think with this new meta or the decks that we're seeing and so on, right, the support actually works quite a lot for this card.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a good stats to have a support and big an early game, right?
Yeah. It's the same start line as Basil with support, and that's a card that sees a lot of play in Amethyst Sapphire these days. Next up, we have Scrooge McDuck on the right track, a 3-cost inkable, force requesting for 1, with the ability Fabulous Wealth. When you play this character, chosen character with a card under them gets +1 law this turn. A really good effect to buff up your Whisper cards, but also your shifted Floodborn characters as well. If you are building a deck around those archetypes, then I could see this definitely fitting in. We've seen some aggro threats that can be boosted, and then you'll be able to play Scrooge just to give them a little bit more reach. And then after that, you have a body with some pretty decent stats too. So could be a cool one there. And then, sorry, we are rushing through these, but the last card we have for Amber today is Duckburg, Funzo's Fan Zone. This is a 2-cost inkable location, a move cost of 2, willpower of 6, and it doesn't generate any lore, but has the ability where fun is in the zone. Whenever a character quests while here, you pay 2 ink less for the next character you play this turn. I think the downside of this is you do have to spend, in most cases, the 2 ink to move a character here, but assuming they're able to quest at multiple turns, then you are getting quite a lot of ink advantage by reducing the cost. And of course, there are also effects that allow you to move 1 or 2 characters to a location for free, and then allowing them to quest could actually really pop off. But it is a combo piece that requires a few cards to set up to work.
Yes.
So there we go for Amber. We're going to drop all of the cards in. And Matthias, remind me how many are missing for Amber?
I think it's 1. I think it's a common one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
You'll
it.
see on the screen.
Yes,
Sorry,
I'll
I put
show
Matthias under pressure.
I remember a few of them, but I think it's a common or uncommon that we're missing. And of course, the Enchanted. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, let us go over to Amethyst. And starting us off, we have Minnie Mouse, Amethyst Champion, a 4-cost inkable 2/3, questing for 2, with the ability Mystical Balance. Whenever one of your Amethyst characters is banished in a challenge, you may draw a card. And I think probably one of the best of these champion cards we're seeing, being able to essentially set up a wide board and then drop Minnie down. It kind of insulates your characters from being challenged, because your opponent won't want to give you cards in most cases. It means they'll have to deal with Minnie before they can deal with the characters that are on the board. But equally, you could use a kind of more offensive or defensively as well. You could set up a board where you have to challenge your opponent's characters down, and then challenge in losing those characters, but then replacing themselves with cards as well. So I think this could work in an aggro deck. I think this could equally work in a more mid-range deck as well. So I do like this one.
And it's cool because, of course, is any moment of banishing, right? Either you performing the challenge or in the opponent's turn. And it's also cool, you probably noticed by now, but all the champion characters are following their archetype of mono deck approach, because it's all about Amethyst, all about Amber, and so on. So it's cool to see something new like that. Hopefully it's something that grows over time.
And the art, incredible.
All of the champions are amazing, yeah.
Next up, we have Coldstone Reincarnated Cyborg, a 5-cost inkable 5/4 questing for 2. With the cantrips have been spoken. When you play this character, if you have 2 or more gargoyle character cards in your discard, gain 2 lore. So actually quite a fun one if you're building a gargoyle deck or you have a few low-cost gargoyles in there. I think it's definitely achievable that you could have those in your discard by the time you play down Coldstone. And then you basically, as gaining 2 lore without having to discard a card like the Giant Cobra, and then once you've got this on the board, this is a big body who can quest for quite a lot. So I think probably not for every deck. It's going to be a deck that is running already the gargoyles, but it is nice, and he also doesn't have the Stone by the downside.
That's what I was about to say. Even though he's a gargoyle, he doesn't have that ability, because technically he's not a gargoyle, he's a cyborg. So it's cool that they had that special touch to it.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, we have Merlin completing his research. 2-cost Inkable, 0-3 questing for 2. He is a Whisper. You can boost him for 2 and has the ability Legacy of Learning. When this character is banished in a challenge, if he had a card under him, draw 2 cards, which is really cool. Again, probably more for an aggro deck, I want to say. So you're putting the law pressure on your opponent, and if they want to deal with your Merlin, then you're going to be drawing some cards, which is going to then help you get through the mid game. Also pairs really nice with Minnie Mouse. If you set that up, then you could be drawing 3 cards. So a fun one. It is just a shame, sadly, that he is uninkable, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Magica Dispel, Shadowy and Sinister, 3-cost Inkable, 3-4 questing for 1 with the ability Dark Incantation. When you play this character, you may shuffle a card from chosen player's discard into their deck. A really cool one. It's great as a way of disrupting your opponent, especially when there are recursion effects like the Black Cauldron and even like Tamatoa, Happy as a Clam. Then this is a good way to deal with those things that your opponent wants to get out of their discard. She also pairs really nicely with the Horned King, Triumphant Ghoul, because you can play him on turn 2. On turn 3, you can play Magica, remove something from your discard, shuffle it into your deck, and now the Horned King is questing for 3. So yeah, definitely an interesting one there. We'll have to see. I think maybe is going to... Unless you're playing that line, the Horned King into Magica, I think it's probably going to be more of a tech card, depending
it's very specific,
what people are playing in the meta game. Next up, we have Mushu Bragging Dragon, a 4-cost Inkable 4-4, questing for 2 vanilla. Really cool, great art, very dynamic pose, and yeah, really showing the character of Mushu there. And then last but not least, we have Nana, Canine Caregiver, 3-cost Inkable, 3-3, questing for 1 with the ability Helpful Instincts. When you play this character, you may choose and discard a card to return chosen character with cost 2 or less to their player's hand. Yeah, we talked about this in previous videos, like a 2-cost character is not always what you want to be returning. Like usually 3-cost characters are more impactful, so it's always going to be a bit of a decision whether you're going to want to discard a card in order to return the character card. But she does have some built-in synergy with a card like Dock. If you're playing Amethyst Steel, you can play Dock, empty your hand, and then at some point return him back to your hand using Nana, empty your hand again, and then replay Dock. So potentially some synergy there, but I think there are probably better ways to play around with this. So okay, sorry, I talked a lot, but that's Amethyst. We're going to drop all of the cards in there for you. Amethyst looking very strong this set.
It
very
is.
strong. Lots of interesting
it's
cards.
It's scary for all the blurple profiles, yes. Because Sapphire are always going to look strong, right? So we don't even need to say that. They're always going to give everything to Sapphire, but when they give also to Amethyst, that's scary.
And okay, with that, we'll go over to Emerald. So not too many cards for Emerald, but we are going to start out with a legendary card. This is Shere Khan, Fearsome Tiger, 6-cost, uninkable, 5-4, questing for 2. He is evasive and has the ability On the Hunt. When this character quests, banish chosen opposing damage character. Then you may put 1 damage counter on another chosen character.
Whenever this character quests. So not just when, it's whenever.
Yeah. So it is an interesting one. I think it's cool, like the ability sets itself up so you can, you quest, you banish a character, you put a damage on another character, you quest the next turn, banish a character. But I think we've seen time and time again these higher cost uninkable cards that don't have on-play abilities just generally don't work out too well. Maybe in Sapphire, where you could get rid of him with a Tipo if you needed, but you can also get to the 6-sync a bit faster, is one potential option. He does have evasive, which is nice, but for me, I just, I compare him to the Cheshire Cat from the Shadows, a card I know Mateus really loves playing with in a casual deck. Also evasive, but he's inkable and he's Floodborn, so it's also a card that never really saw any play. So I don't know about Shere Khan. I want him to be great, but and it's also worth saying his stat line. We do have a card we're going to see later on that it does deal 4 damage, which will cleanly answer Shere Khan. He is evasive, so he can be answered with the Horseman strikes, and we'll have to see.
I think the main difference as well with Cheshire's Cat is that with Shere Khan you are actually earning the lore at the same time.
That is true.
And you are doing an additional damage elsewhere that doesn't necessarily need to be already damaged, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, that's a legendary from a super rare. But I agree, it's very specific as well.
Yeah.
I always hope that those type of effects can one day someone make it work because it's so unique.
And I've got to say, like the 3D effect on the whisper that's coming out at the bottom is just
with the shadows,
incredible.
right?
Yeah, it really has depth to it. So it's super cool. Can't wait to see this in person to see if it translates over. Next up, we have the Blessed Bagpipes, a 2-cost inkable item with 2 abilities. The first one is McDuck Heirloom. When you play this item, you may put the top card of your deck face down under one of your characters or locations with a boost. And Battle Anthem, whenever one of your characters or locations with a card under them is challenged, gain 1 law. So quite a cool one, actually, if you are playing a boost-heavy deck, being able to... Well, the minimum cost to boost the character is 1, sorry. It goes all the way up to 3, so being able to do that for free and then have that secondary ability as well, I don't think is a bad option at all.
It just made me realize that we have not seen any location with the boost effect. But they are probably just hinting to a potential in the future, right? Just how they did with multiplayer and so on. But it's interesting, This is a cool card.
Yeah, it is nice. Next up, we have White Agony Plains, Golden Lagoon, which you might recognize from our map. It's a 2-cost inkable location. It's going to move cost of 1, willpower of 7, doesn't generate any law, but it has the ability Liquid Gold Waterfalls. This location gains +1 law for each character in this location. I said to Matis, this is what Casa Madrigal should have been. I think it's really cool, the idea that you can kind of set up a turn where you have a bunch of characters, you play this location, it's very cheap. It's cheap to move characters there, load it up, and then your opponent has the dilemma of do they deal with the location, do they deal with the characters. So a very fun one here, and great to see this location. It's so iconic for Goldie Guild, and there we go, we get to see it in the game in Lorcana. And then last for us in Emerald today, we have Car Suspicious Snake, a 3-cost inkable 3/2, questing for 2 with Ward. Same start line as Prince Philip, a card that is pretty good. Card doesn't have any shift targets or anything, but sometimes you just need a character on board who can't be targeted so that you can close the game. So
it's worth saying that Ka got also an epic card. I'm not sure if it's this Ka or the other one, I'll be honest, but one of the 2 Kas from Emerald got an epic card.
But again, all of the car cards just looking amazing. So let's drop him and the rest of the characters into the tracker, and that is going to be it for Emerald. And before we go on to the next color, Ruby, I just want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video, Heavyplay. Heavyplay have their Equip Mag system, which allows you to connect your deck box to your dice box and your playmat to make it super easy when you switch tables whilst playing. They also have their curved sleeves with curved corners, which mean you'll never have a card upside down in your deck again. If you want to get your hands on any Heavyplay products, do be sure to check them out at heavyplay.com. And hey, use the discount code Inkborn10 at checkout to get 10% off your whole order. So thanks so much to Heavyplay for sponsoring this video, and we're going to go over to one of 2 new legendary cards for Ruby. This is the Headless Horseman, Terror of Sleepy Hollow. 5-cost inkable, 4/2, questing for 2. This is the same card as the Enchanted card, so you can see very cool art as well. And he has the 2 abilities. The first one is Leaves No Trace. When you play this character, banish chosen opposing character with 2 strength or less. And Gathering Strength. During your turn, whenever an opposing character is banished, each of your characters gain +1 law. So
1 strength this turn.
1 loss, 1 strength this turn. Very similar effect to Brawl, but on a body, which is quite cool. I think Brawl is missed from the game, if I'm honest. Being able to deal with like an Elsa or a Genie with a card like this is really good for Ruby, who can struggle actually dealing with those kind of cards now. Other than that, like the stats are okay. 4/2 is very easy for steel decks to deal with. Amethyst decks can deal with it by moving damage as well. But he does have like some nice synergy. Like if you play Scar, you're really prepared. You give a character -5 strength and then play him. Like if you're able to take down a Maui Half Shark or something with him, it can be really, really powerful. But I do think he needs to be paired with some of Sapphire or maybe even Amber's strength reduction in order to really make the most out of this effect. But good to have more removal on a character in Ruby, because I do think that's been missing.
It is cool. I think we discussed that on the side, right? If only he was inkable, or if only he would be 1 cost cheaper. So it's almost like a Brawl in a way. The fact that it's 2 above and an inkable makes it hard, because I really wanted this one to work.
Yeah. I think decks are going to be running maybe 2 copies,
Yeah.
but I think that might be about it. Next up, we have Hercules Mighty Leader, a 4-cost thinkable 5/3, questing for 2, with 2 abilities. The first one is Ever Vigilant. This character can't be dealt damage except when challenged, and Ever Brave. While this character is exerted, your other hero characters can't be dealt damage except when challenged, which is really first time we're seeing this. I think based on the wording, and it is a translation, it means that when you challenge, you don't take damage. It's only when you yourself are challenged. And it also means these characters are insulated from damage dealing effects like Strength for Raging Fire or Fire the Cannons. It's not protected against moving damage. Moving damage is not dealing damage. So Bell will be able to take out Hercules and any of your other characters. But I think it is an interesting one. Even though it isn't like an on-play ability, you do need Hercules to be exerted the next turn for it really to start making an effect. In most cases, he is going to survive just because of the lack of ways to remove him other than with targeted removal.
For the second effect, you mean, right?
So the
has
second
to be
effect,
exerted. The first effect takes place as soon as you play. And I think it's worth saying as well, and you all know, hero characters are plenty, right? There's so many heroes in the game, so even though it's dedicated to a classification, it's very likely that the classification will be part of your cards anyway.
Yeah, probably Ruby Steel, I would imagine, because you have access to Calhoun's and cards like that, Mulan. So a very interesting one. We'll see how much of a difference it does make to the meta game. Next up, we have David Xanatos, a charismatic leader, 6-cost thinkable 5/5, questing for 2 with 2 abilities. The first one is Learn from Everything. During your turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, draw a card. And what are you waiting for? Whenever this character quests, chosen character gains rush this turn. So this is another one. It's technically not a non-play ability, but as soon as David is on the board, then you can start taking advantage of it. So again, maybe in Ruby Steel, probably not with Hercules because you want your characters to be managed to draw a card. But the fact that when you play him, you can give whenever he quests, you can give a character rush, means that it can actually pair quite nicely with his first ability. You can rush in something low cost, banish a character, and then draw a card from your character. So we'll be interested to see how this one plays out.
I really like this card.
Yeah.
I think it can work.
I think it has some potential, and I do think that in limited formats it's probably going to be kind of pretty good. Next up is Hans Brazen Manipulator, 6-cost thinkable 6/4, questing for 2. He has 2 abilities. The first one is Jostling for Power. King and Queen characters can't quest. And Growing Influence. At the start of your turn, if an opponent has 2 or more ready characters in play, gain 2 law. Another quite cool one, it almost plays like a bit of an anti-aggro card. Like if your opponent's playing lots of characters, this is going to stop them wanting to play more than one character a turn. Otherwise, you're going to, in most cases, gain that 2 law because the characters will enter ready. And also maybe if we do see like a lot of queen decks or king decks, maybe it'll work. But I do think it's probably too niche.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that is for aggro because if the player has their character already exerted, they are in risk. But if they have it ready to protect themselves from that turn, I earn the lore.
Yeah, so like I play hands on my turn. Now my opponent, if they play more than one character,
then it will be
then
ready.
I'm going to get the lore.
Okay,
exactly, unless they play bodyguard.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of, it slows your opponent down a little bit, but yeah, I'm not so sure about this one.
I like this one as well.
It's a cool effect. It's a really cool effect.
Because I feel like Flame Rider, the one in Ruby, at first everyone was like, it's not going to be playable, and it was very playable. Not the horse, the other one.
Yeah.
But
No,
obviously
Maximus.
that's very different.
Yeah.
But there's still an element of quantity.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Next, we have Donald Duck, Ruby champion of 4-cost thinkable 4/4, questing for 1. I think it makes sense for Donald to be in Ruby, right?
Yes.
It's very much his personality. He has 2 abilities: High Energy, your other Ruby characters get +1 strength, and Powerful Reward, your other Ruby characters with 7 strength or more get +1 law. We've seen a lot, actually, over the last 3 or 4 sets of effects that boost up all of your Ruby characters. Of course, we have things like Lumiere, but we also have now the new Headless Horseman. If you banish the character, all your characters get +1. And of course, that can all synergize really well with Tinkerbell, because if you have a lot of really high strength characters, you can have them enter play exerted and then gain law that way as well. So I think there's definitely kind of an archetype emerging there. And it's worth saying, if I'm not mistaken, if you have both Donald Duck and Tinkerbell on the board and you play a 4-strength character, it will get the extra strength from Donald, and then you'll be able to trigger Tinkerbell's ability because of the way the bag works. So, play Lumiere on 2, play your Donald Duck on 4, and then, by turn 5, you could be making a 3-cost character 5 strength and being able to trigger.
Of course, because then Donald Duck himself, but it's your other Ruby
characters. Yeah.
It doesn't work for himself.
It doesn't work for himself, sadly. Yeah. So definitely something there. We'll see if it's competitively viable, but I'm sure a lot of fun to play around with. And then next we have Sleepy Hollow the Bridge, 3-cost inkable location, move cost of 1, willpower of 6, and generates no law, but it does have the ability head for the bridge. Whenever a character quests while here, you may banish this location to gain 2 law and give them evasive until the start of your next turn. It's an interesting one. We're going to see a card next that makes it quite a bit better, but that does require it to be in your discard. So I think if you pair this with Mulan, put it in your discard, and then play Get to Safety. This is a 1-cost inkable action. Play a location with cost 3 or less from your discard for free. Then if you have a location, name Sleepy Hollow and play it, draw a card. So I think if you set it up like that, you put it in your discard, then you play Get to Safety, then you're drawing a card, you're playing a 3-cost location for free, and I think it can be a lot better. So obviously they've intended the synergy here. Again, be really fun to try out, and maybe even like in Ruby Amber locations with Sugar Rush Speedway and things, this could be maybe an interesting one to include. We'll see. Another card that potentially synergizes with this is Raksha Fearless Mother, 3-cost inkable, 5/3, questing for 1, with the ability on patrol. Once during your turn, you may pay 1 less to move this character to a location. So again, you could play Sleepy Hollow for 1 from your discard, and then on the next turn you could play Raksha, move her there for free, banish the location, get 2 law, and give her evasive. So maybe something there. And again, another low-cost Ruby character. This would already trigger Tinkerbell's ability, which is great.
True, yes. Oh wow, yes.
Yeah. Next up we have Shere Khan Keen-Eyed Hunter, 2-cost inkable, 3/3, questing for 1 vanilla, and definitely there's just a shift target for the new Floodborn Shere Khan, which we looked at.
That is a beautiful Shere Khan.
That is a very,
of course, Marina Moreno.
And then next we have Rama, Vigilant Father, 6-cost inkable, 6/6, questing for 2, with the ability Protection of the Pack. Whenever you play another character with 5 strength or more, you may ready this character. If you do, he can't quest for the rest of the turn. So many cards supporting the high strength archetype in Ruby. Please try it out. They really want us to do that. That's why they're adding so much support.
Try it out and let us know if it works.
Next up we have Katrina Van Tassel, Rosy Cheek Glass, 4-cost inkable, 6/4, questing for 1. So vanilla, I should say. So huge beefy stats. Again, put her in that high strength deck, trigger your Tinkerbell, and just have a really big body on the board as well.
Yes, a piece of trivia: you could see her silhouette in the Emerald Song card, the malicious.
Oh yeah, malicious, mean, and scary.
So she was actually hinted at all along when we first saw that card, even though we only realized it was Katrina this week.
Is that the first time they've kind of had a cross-franchise thing?
Maybe, because it's just her silhouette, but maybe.
That's really cool. And then next up we have Mulan Standing Her Ground, a 3-cost inkable, 4/2, questing for 1, with the ability Flowing Blade. During your turn, if you put a card under one of your characters or locations this turn, this character takes no damage from challenges. I mean, in a boost deck, maybe you could use it there as kind of like a way of dealing with some of your opponent's stuff without losing her, but I think otherwise a 4/2 questing for 1 is maybe a bit underwhelming. I think there are probably better cards, but yeah. Next up, we have Brombones Burly Bully, a 4-cost inkable, 5/4, questing for 1, with the ability Rough and Tumble. Whenever this character challenges a character with 2 strength or less, each opponent loses 1 law. Could be quite a cool one, maybe in a Ruby Steel Challenger deck. And yeah, if you have somewhere to get some extra advantages out of him, like maybe you're drawing cards or gaining law, like some of the effects we've seen, it could be cool.
It is a cool effect, actually. And again, another character with 5 strength, right, in Ruby, so I'm happy to see that.
Ruby is getting a very big stat buff. Next up, we have Time to Go. This is 3-cost inkable action. Banish chosen character of yours to draw 2 cards. If that character had a card under them, draw 3 cards instead. So a card draw for Ruby, which is a color that does struggle quite a lot from card draw unless paired with something like Amethyst. So this gives you a way to draw cards. You do sacrifice a character, but you could do this on your 1-cost character or something, or a character that's going to be banished anyway, and it's actually not too bad.
Yeah, you could quest and then banish them with this item, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it is nice.
And it is nice getting that extra if they do have a card under them. And then last but not least for us in Ruby today, we have Ghostly Tale, 4-cost inkable action, exert all opposing characters with 2 strength or less. So yeah, could be quite a nice one to break stalemates in Ruby Steel. Oftentimes your opponent will just not quest because they don't want to expose their characters. But if you've set up your challenges on your turns 1, 2, and 3, like your Calhouns and things like that, then on turn 4 you can do Ghostly Tale and really use that as a tempo swing. So could be interesting. We'll have to see.
I love this card. I love the shadow creating the Headless Horseman behind.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. So let's drop that and the other cards into the Ruby tracker now. Ruby doing better because Ruby was in a bad place, as we saw. Like it saw no player DLCs, so hopefully
it's still lacking perfect legendary cards. Though I still don't think it's the strongest legendaries, but it's getting better.
And then with that, we're going to move over to the strongest color, Sapphire.
Always.
And not only is Sapphire, in my opinion, one of the strongest colors in the game, one of the strongest inks in the game, it also just got this incredibly strong action. This is Spooky Sight, 6-cost uninkable action. Put all characters with cost 3 or less into their player's inkwells face down and exerted, which is a really scary effect. One of the downsides that Sapphire has generally is it spends those early turns being quite slow as it builds up its inkwell. That allows your opponent to create quite a wide board. I've been playing Amethyst Sapphire this set, and I can tell you, playing against like a dog's deck, my opponent by turn 4 when I could play this has like 8 characters on board, all with cost 3 or less. So being able to play this would really kind of swing the game in the favor of the Sapphire player. So I think it does kind of, unless the aggro player is able to kind of quest out before this gets played, then it is really going to set them back a lot. And it scares me a little bit that Sapphire has a tool like this that's particularly cheap. Because it's
unbalanced, I think.
Yeah,
again, unfortunately, I do hope it doesn't get. Oh, actually, if it does get banned, the enchanted version will drop in value.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll get banned because, but yeah, I think it is very advantageous for the Sapphire play because you can play a 1-cost character, you can play T-Pawn to get you up to 4 ink. You can then play Cinderella Dream Come True on 3, which then puts you up to 6 ink by turn 4. You play this, it controls your opponent's side of the board. You lose 2 bad characters, which also helps you get to your end game sooner. Because now, by the time you play this on your next turn, you can already play Maleficent Dragon. So it's just a crazy line. Obviously, you need the exact cards to get there. But I do think this is like maybe a tool that I almost feel like Sapphire didn't need. But there you go. We'll see. Maybe we're overhyping it. I think there's always a card every set that everyone sees, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe that got printed." But
this is strong. Maybe we just have to start playing Sapphire. That's it. Yeah. If we want to win.
So there we go. And yeah, I think a lot of people are saying, well, if your opponent has a load of characters and then you do this, you're also giving them ink. But oftentimes it's going to be used against aggro decks, and then they're going to be top decking.
No, but it's true. I completely forgot about the downside.
But I do think like in those cases your opponent's top decking, so it's like
there's nothing to use
can they
anyway.
come back?
Unless they went back to your hand, like he inked and then you get more cards.
So fun one there. Next up we have Daisy Duck Sapphire Champion, 5-cost inkable, 5/6 questing for 1. 2 abilities. The first one is Stand Fast. Your other Sapphire characters gain resist +1. And look ahead. Whenever one of your other Sapphire characters quests, you may look at the top card of your deck, put it on either the top or the bottom of your deck. So it's actually kind of a good one. We know Cogsworth, Grandfather Clock, was really powerful, giving characters all resist +1. This is limited to just Sapphire. Of course, Daisy doesn't have ward, thankfully, so you will be able to get her off the board eventually, unlike Cogsworth. The second ability, it's one of those effects that I don't think is there yet in Sapphire. Maybe if there are some effects allowing you to play things off the top of your deck for free, but that's usually not in Sapphire, so then you want to pair it, but then it's less effective. So yeah, I'm not so sure about this one. But up next we have Ichabod Crane, Bookish Schoolmaster, 4-cost inkable, 2/4 questing for 2, with the ability Well Read. Whenever this character quests, if you played a character with cost 5 or more this turn, put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. So on curve, you can play Ichabod Crane on turn 4, then play your 5-cost character on turn 5, quest with him, and then you get to increase your ink by 1. But ultimately, I just think there are better ways to increase your ink. You could play Donald Duck, Flatfoot, has the same effect on play, and it doesn't rely on you kind of keeping him around on the board. You get it right away. I think, just more efficient ways to gain ink in Sapphire that will stop this being played.
This card is stunning, right? The more I'm looking at it, the proportions is just so good, and the lighting, nice one.
The character design on the old Disney films was just so beautiful. Next up, we have Judy Hopps on the case, a 3-cost inkable, 4/3 questing for 1, with the ability Hidden Clues. When you play this character, if you have another detective character in play, you may put chosen item into its player's inkwell face down and exerted. So it does require a bit of setup, but it is some item removal for Judy Hopps, but there is... I think probably more efficient ways to deal with items that don't require this setup. So I'm not so sure about this one. Next up, we have Daisy Duck Ghost Finder, 2-cost inkable, 2/3 questing for 1 with support. So fits into those Rapunzel decks again if we do see a lot of support coming through. And another one of the Ghost Hunter characters for the set. Really, really cool art. I love that she's in, obviously, in Scrooge McDuck's mansion.
We were there not long ago.
And it looked at
we saw so many ghosts, so we tried to just ignore them.
And spiderwebs, right?
And spiderwebs.
And then at the top of that staircase, so it's not a continuous art, but it does look like it's part of the sim scene. Fergus McDuck, Scrooge's father, 3-cost inkable, 3/2 questing for 2, with the ability Toughen Up. When you play this character, chosen character of yours gains ward until the start of your next turn. Could actually be quite a cool one to protect one of your characters that you don't want to be banished through an action or a song. But other than that, I'm not so sure.
At least he quests for 2.
At least he quests for 2, he's got decent stats once he's on the board. And you can also give ward to him, so if you just need the 2 lore to close out the game, you can play Fergus, give himself ward, and then in most cases your opponent will be able to interact with him. So that's possible there. Next up, we have Li Shang, Seasoned Strategist, 3-cost inkable, 2/4 questing for 2 vanilla. Not much to say about this one. Is that a hidden Mickey at the bottom?
I thought so,
with the
pumpkins,
pumpkins,
I think so.
Next up, we have another Ichabod Crane, Scared Out of His Mind, 2-cost inkable, 0/2 questing for 2, with the ability Chilling Tale. When this character is banished, you may put this card into your inkwell face down and exerted. So Grandma Tala has been replaced. She rotated out, and now we have Ichabod. I think in general, most Sapphire decks are going to want to be playing Tipo or Sail on 2 in order to skip the turn 3, which Ichabod prevents. But we have seen some aggro cards for Sapphire, so potentially in more of an aggro deck where you don't want to take the turn off, you want to still be playing lore threats to the board, you could do this. If your opponent banishes him, then it speeds ahead your ink, and then you can play more cards on your subsequent turn. So I think this one maybe has a bit of potential, just because I think it fits into a different form of Sapphire. And then next we have Sudden Fright. This is a 4-cost inkable action. Put chosen opposing character into their player's inkwell face down. That player puts the top card of their deck into their inkwell face down. So
imagine that as an enchanted as well.
Imagine that as an enchanted.
It's so beautiful. Oh my god.
Yeah,
okay.
I love
the ghost as well. I didn't even notice at first. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I think this and the Sudden Fright cards just both
it's just
absolutely gorgeous, and just making
this is Sudden Fright.
Oh, this is Sudden Fright. Sorry, I meant what did I mean? I meant Spooky Sight. Spooky Sight, Sudden Fright. Yeah. But yeah, it's just I feel bad for Donald and Mickey. They're getting into so many mishaps this set. I
know.
But yeah, I don't think this is a very good card. Like, it's there as removal. So we've talked a lot about power creep this set, and we're seeing characters getting power crept. But I think removal is in most cases getting the opposite of power crept. What is that? I don't know.
Lower crept.
Lower crept, because
weakness crept.
Unpower crept, because if you compare this to Let It Go is a 5-cost inkable song.
Downgrade, right?
Yeah, I think it's probably a downgrade. 5-cost inkable song that just puts one character into your opponent's inkwell. This not only puts a character into your opponent's inkwell, it gives them an extra ink, and it can't be sung. So I don't think I see this one being played, unless maybe in a Ruby Sapphire deck where you really, really, really need that targeted removal. Otherwise, I'm not so sure.
Did Let It Go got reprinted?
It did not. So that's what
that is the
it's,
version, right? Yeah.
So a bit of a shame. And then the last card for us in Sapphire is Castle of the Horn King, Bastion of Evil, a 1-cost inkable location, move cost of 1, willpower of 5, with the ability Into the Gloom. Once during your turn, whenever a character quests while here, you may already choose an item, which is cool. If we do see the return of item decks in Sapphire, then potentially this is a good way of kind of a good cheap way, like paying 2 to ready an item in most cases. But which items are you readying? We don't have the Lucky Dime anymore. A lot of items have a cost now.
Future items.
Yeah, I think maybe for future items it'll be cool.
It is. I don't know if it's just me, but I could never see this castle as part of Sapphire art-wise. I don't understand why it's Sapphire.
Yeah.
I understand the ability. I just mean the choice of the location. Maybe they just want the whole blue setting right around. Yeah. It's stunning though, but I would never think it's Sapphire.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So, okay, let's drop the Sapphire cards into the tracker. And Sapphire getting some really powerful new tools. And we're going to move over to the last ink, which is going to be Steel. And speaking of downgraded removal cards, we have He Hurled His Thunderbolt, the next line in along came Zeus. 4-cost uninkable song. Deal 4 damage to chosen character. Your deity characters gain Challenger +2 this turn. So a lot of people were very upset, myself included, that Along Came Zeus got rotated out of the game. But we do have a replacement here. So it's dealing 1 less damage. A lot of cards are being increased in terms of their willpower, so this becomes slightly less effective, but we do still see a lot of powerful cards having only 4 willpower, so it will be able to hit them. But you get the added benefit of your deity characters getting a Challenger +2, so applies to cards like Maui, applies to cards like Hercules, like Hades, like Sisu, and more deities get added to the game all the time. So I'm not sure you would use the second ability all too much, but certainly being able to deal 4 damage on a song is not bad at all.
Is it the same cost as the
Along Came Zeus?
Was it 4 or 5?
Yeah. No, Along Came Zeus was 4 as well. Okay. So that's what made it so good in Amber Steel, because you could sing it on turn 2 with your Vanessa. So it is a little bit worse, but thankful to have some damage-based removal back in the game. And this would not deal damage to the new legendary Hercules. So
is that the Horn King castle out there that I was just talking about?
It is the Horn King Castle. That's that's really good. So another crossing of franchises.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so there you go. That's really cool. Good eyes, Matthias. So yeah, this is we're showing the epic version on screen now, but there's also the regular version of this, which is an uncommon.
Good shout. Yeah. You're like, what is the rarity? the other version.
Yeah. Next, we've got another Headless Horseman. This is Cursed Rider, an 8-cost inkable, 5/7, questing for 2. He's Floodborn, so he'll shift in at 5, and has the ability Witching Hour. When you play this character, each player draws 3 cards, then discards 3 cards at random. Choose an opposing character and deal 2 damage to them for each action card discarded this way.
Both theirs and yours.
Yeah, so in Magical Cuckoo Land, you could be dealing what's that 6-12 damage to a character if you and your opponent both randomly discard 3 action cards. But yeah, it's an interesting one. So it's adding some variance into the game, because neither your opponent have the ability to choose what's getting discarded. So you could lose some of your best cards, so it's a gamble there. You could also get some really good cards. So I'm not sure we'll see this card seeing much play, but I do like the design space that it creates, and
it's super cool. It's I just don't think the thing is, it's not even a May ability. You have to do it, right? And then you're shifting, you're deciding to shift, so you're sacrificing a body. You're just having your same body being stronger, and you have to do that ability. I don't know. Yeah.
Me neither, but if you do want to play this card, then we have a Headless Horseman, Relentless Spirit you can shift onto, 4-cost inkable, 4/4 questing for 1 bodyguard. So yeah, you can play this on turn 4, and then shift on turn 5, and maybe get some good cards, or maybe lose your good cards as well.
So beautiful.
It is, great card, and I love seeing the setting. It's very spooky. The final champion we have for you is Pluto Steel Champion at 5-cost inkable, 5/5 questing for 2. with 2 abilities. The first one is winner take all. During your turn, whenever one of your other steel characters banishes another character in a challenge, gain 2 lore. And make room. Whenever you play another steel character, you may banish chosen item.
That is cool.
So it is actually a cool one. It's like I think most of these champion cards, it's a static ability. So as soon as he's played, it's there and you can take advantage of it. Again, if you've set up a nice wide board of steel characters, you can play him on turn 5 and maybe make some really big lore swings. It does feel like it belongs maybe in Ruby Steel, the color combination you want to be challenging. But then, of course, it's less effective. But these champion cards do apply to dual ink cards. So if you have...
As long as it has a steel on their name, so it would work on something like...
Mushu.
Yeah. I was trying to say the boat as well, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, imagine you playing Kahun here, so you get 4 lore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So,
cool.
Could be something there. The second ability, kind of nice if you do need to get rid of an item, then you can play Pluto and then follow him up with a character, but maybe a bit slow.
Can you banish 2 items if you play Benja? If Benja was still available.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. It's two triggers in the bag. And I've got to say, the outfit on Pluto is just incredible. I love Pluto. Next up, we have Nick Wilde, Sly Fox, Sleuth, the 1-cost Inkable, 2/2 questing for 1 vanilla. We do have the Bloodborne Nick Wilde, so you can shift on top of him.
Very well dressed.
Very well dressed, very dapper. Next up, we have Clawhausen, Donut Detective, 6-cost Inkable, 5/6 questing for 2 with Challenger +2. I think perfectly fine card. Probably there are other things you're going to want to play in the 6-cost slot, but limited formats for sure. Being able to deal 7 damage with a character is going to be really good. And then last but not least, we have Castle Wyvern, Above the Clouds. This is a 2-cost inkable location, move cost of 1, willpower of 5, and gives you 1 lore per turn, and has the ability protect this castle. Characters gain +1 and characters gain Challenger +1 and resist +1 while here. So we talked about power creep. This location completely power crept Maui's Palace of Exile out of the game. I'm not sure why they reprinted Maui's Palace of Exile to then print. Yeah,
of course.
They literally reprinted it, and then they printed this card, which is just like,
oh my god,
1,000 times better.
Maybe they reprinted the wrong location?
Maybe
they didn't mean to reprint Maui.
Yeah, because we're showing it on.
No sense.
We're showing it on screen, but yeah, Maui's Palace of Exile doesn't. Place of Exile. Sorry, I always call it wrong. Place of Exile doesn't give you a law, and it doesn't give you Challenger. It just gives you resist.
And it's the same everything. The stats.
Everything is the same. So
that is insane. That is a mistake. Surely.
It's crazy. But actually, I do like Castle Wyvern. We did get a reprint of also John Silver, who had very little location support. But here we go in Steel. We have a very low-cost location. John Silver's already getting 1 resist when you have a location in play. If you put him here, then he gets 2 resist. And it's very cheap to play, very cheap to move in there. So I do think this one's quite cool. And great to see Castle Wyvern. Yeah. So that will do it for Steel. I'm out of breath. I did a lot of talking. Thank you. We're going to drop all of them into the tracker now. I didn't say too many wrong things, which is good. I always call strength law for some reason, but other than
I think you did just once.
Just once, yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, that's it for the card reveals. As we said, we won't be covering the remaining 7 or 8 or whatever it is.
8, yeah.
But we will have a dedicated video for the Enchanted cards where we'll cover the Enchanteds we didn't show in this video. And of course, stick to our Instagram if you want to see the last of
We'll
those
update the
reveals.
tracker as soon as the last cards are out as well, so you'll be able to see all of that, including the 7 cards that we're not covering here. But we hope you enjoyed this review season. As always, it goes quite fast, but also we've been saying that over and over again. This has been such a cool review season, actually, personally.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that. So I hope you enjoyed as well.
Yep. And if you did enjoy, please do be sure to give us a like, as it does help us out, and hit that subscribe button, because we're going to have so much content for the release of Whispers in the Well. And my goodness, I've never been more excited to do theme decks, because we've got so many possibilities. So yeah, I know people are really excited about the theme decks. It's always one of those videos that gets people really talking. So
but we need more views. We need more views to justify. It's the one we get the most comments, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I feel like, why are people not watching? Share with your friends. Come watch us play.
Yeah, if you want more theme decks, you gotta watch it.
Otherwise,
that's it.
Just keep watching.
But no, they're the most fun videos to make as well. So we don't mind.
And I love the comments. Actually, it's the most engaging type of content.
Yeah. So check those out. And another huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video, HeavyPlay. Remember, check them out at heavyplay.com and get your hands on the products using the discount code Inkborn10 at checkout to get 10% off. And finally, I'm so tired. Finally, a huge shout out to our YouTube members. I'm flagging here.
I'll take from here.
Okay,
so again, thank you so much. We really appreciate all of the support. We really truly mean it, and thank you for sticking around. And you as well, even if you're not a member, thank you so much for being here.
How can they find out about becoming a member?
And if you want to become a member, just click on the button just down below. We're gonna play a video for you. And
the join
button just down below.
And with that said, thank you so much for sticking with us during reveal season. We'll see you for the next one and for all the content in between.
And until next time, happy questing.
Happy questing. Bye.